Healer, chosen ones reside in 5D, breakers move between dimensions. There's something they never taught you in school, in church, or in most spiritual books, and it's this. The greatest souls walking this earth right now are not here to live within one dimension. They're not here to just heal, or just awaken, or just ascend. They're here to reshape reality across layers of existence that most people will never even perceive. You, who have always felt too deep for this world, too sensitive, too intense, too otherworldly, you're not broken, you're encoded with ancient functionality. And depending on your soul's blueprint, you are either a healer, whose frequency anchors the fifth dimensional vibration into Earth, or you are a breaker, whose mission is far more volatile, far more disruptive, and far more multidimensional. While healers stabilize timelines in 5D, breakers move between dimensions, not metaphorically, but vibrationally, shifting the entire structure of reality as they go. Let's go deeper. Healers are the frequency holders. You feel this in your bones if you are one. You crave harmony. You live for restoration. Your heart breaks when others are in pain, not just because you care, but because your body feels it. You are a literal conduit of energetic peace. Your presence calms people. Your words soothe wounds no one else can see. You don't just support others emotionally, you anchor a higher field into the grid of reality. This is 5D consciousness. Unconditional love, radical presence, timeless understanding. When healer chosen ones step fully into their role, they stabilize reality. They create the frequency template for others to rise into. It's not loud work, it's not flashy, but it is essential. Healers hold the portal open to the new earth.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But here's where it gets wildly real. This world is not only in need of healing, it is in need of breaking, shattering, dissolving, and this is where the breakers enter. If you are a breaker, you already know it. You've never felt quite at home in any spiritual space. You've bounced between teachings, groups, modalities, and nothing fully fits. You weren't designed to reside in one energetic frequency. You were born to move through them. Breakers are dimensional travelers. You hold the gift of descent and ascent. One day you're decoding the grid in silence, the next you're challenging societal systems. Then you disappear. Then you return. People don't understand you, and that's not their fault. You were never meant to be understood by the rules of one reality. You were born to bend them. Where healers stabilize the 5D realm, where unity, love, and energetic harmony reside, breakers move across dimensions because they're not here to only hold the new frequency. They are here to remove the old one. That means confronting the shadow, collapsing timelines, walking into spaces where truth is buried and ripping the veil off without permission. This is not gentle work. This is not for the faint of heart. But breakers didn't come to be liked. They came to burn illusions. And the most profound secret? These two roles are not in conflict. They are in cosmic partnership. Healers are the steady bridge to 5D. Breakers are the lightning bolt that clears the path. One is water, one is fire. One opens hearts, one cracks them open. Both are sacred. Both are chosen. Now think about your life. Have you always been the one who brings calm, who helps others find clarity, who can't stand disconnection or cruelty or chaos? Do people come to you just to be in your energy even when you say nothing at all? You're likely a healer. Your frequency resonates in 5D, which isn't a place, it's a bandwidth of consciousness. You live in compassion not because it's a concept, but because your very being vibrates with remembrance of unity. The pain you've endured has only made your field stronger. But you must remember this: your peace is not passive, it's medicine. Your presence is your power. You don't need to do more, you need to become more of yourself, and the healing flows like a current. But if instead you've always been the one that sees what others refuse to see, if your entire life has been defined by patterns breaking, identities falling apart, truths coming through your mouth before your brain catches up, if you've watched reality shift around you just because you spoke a certain sentence or walked away from a certain situation, then you are not here to reside in 5D. You are here to traverse it. You move through dimensions like a storm, not because you're unstable, but because you're designed to destabilize anything false. The pain you've carried isn't weakness, it's evidence of the systems you came to dismantle. But here's the catch: you must learn to wield your chaos with consciousness. Otherwise it consumes you. The breaker without mastery is a time bomb. The breaker with mastery is a timeline architect. Both roles require presence, both demand embodiment, and both come with extraordinary responsibility. The world doesn't need more people chasing enlightenment. It needs more healers embodying peace in a world on fire, and more breakers walking into the fire and saying, "Let's rebuild from here." But here's what no one tells you: healers can sometimes be called to break, and breakers will often be forced to heal, because the evolution of your role is not fixed. It is dynamic. You are not just one thing, you are a living frequency in motion. And sometimes to heal a system you must first break it. And sometimes to break a delusion you must heal the root wound beneath it. This is where the truth lives, in the dance between dimensions. So, I'll leave you with this question to sit with until your entire body answers it. Are you holding a frequency, or are you moving between them to reset the code of this reality? And if you are the one bending dimensions, what version of Earth are you bringing into being through your very presence? How 5D healers stabilize light and breakers fracture timelines, secrets of soul polarity, activation. What we're talking about now isn't just energy, it's architecture. The unseen design behind why some of us came to hold light and others to break through layers of deception so old they feel like the fabric of reality itself. If you are a healer or a breaker, your soul is operating from a polarity few understand. And it's not a simple good versus bad, yin versus yang, or even masculine versus feminine. It is far more advanced. It is functional polarity, encoded into the soul blueprint before incarnation. Healers stabilize the structure of light. Breakers fracture time to reveal the truth hiding behind it. When both are active in their purpose, the entire matrix shifts. When both are asleep, the false grid remains intact. Healers, let's start with you. Your power is not loud, but it is massive. You don't bend reality by force, you do it by resonance. When you're in your full frequency, the atmosphere shifts just because you're there. You don't need to speak to bring healing, your energy speaks for you. Your presence is a stabilizing field. You are the frequency of coherence, and coherence is what the old world lacks. Most of reality is built on fragmented energy. People are disconnected from themselves, from each other, from the earth. But when a 5D healer walks in, everything starts to come into alignment, not because they fix, but because they vibrate truth without trying. You are the embodiment of the new template. You hold a light that doesn't blind. It remembers. But there's a secret to your stability. You didn't come by it easily. Most healers had to walk through the fire of disconnection first. You were probably born into chaos, into brokenness, into families or systems that didn't see you. You learned to hold peace because you had to build it from within. And now, that internal work becomes your external power. You heal by example. You don't need to argue or prove. You simply are, and others rise just by witnessing you. But your challenge is this: never forget your boundaries. As a stabilizer, you will attract the unstable. As a source of light, you will draw in shadow that wants to be healed but doesn't want to change. And if you're not grounded, you'll start absorbing what was never yours to carry. Your soul's polarity only works when your vessel is clear. Now, breakers, your function is radically different. You don't calm the system, you shock it. Where the healer brings restoration, you bring interruption. Your energy is not about keeping things stable. It's about identifying what must collapse in order for truth to rise. And you feel this in your life. You are the one who sees what others avoid. You speak what others fear. You end patterns just by refusing to comply with them. You are the death-endric current that shakes false timelines until they fall apart. You are not destructive in the way the world defines it. You are evolution incarnate. And here's the thing about breakers. Your soul polarity moves like lightning through dimensions. You don't stay in one field of consciousness. You go up, down, through, across, because you're constantly resetting the code. One day you're in grief, the next in power, then rage, then peace. People think you're inconsistent, but they don't understand. You are dimensional. You're not erratic. You're scanning reality for fractures, and when you find them, you strike. That's your function. But your challenge is to learn precision. Unrefined breakers destroy things that aren't ready to fall. They unleash chaos where containment is needed. But when you master your polarity, your disruption becomes surgical. Timelines break exactly where they need to. Illusions fall, but truth is left intact. This is where soul polarity becomes a superpower. When you know whether you are here to stabilize or disrupt, your path becomes clear. You stop wasting energy trying to be what you're not. Healers stop apologizing for being sensitive. Breakers stop apologizing for being intense. Healers ground their energy so they're not depleted. Breakers refine their fire so they don't burn themselves down. And once both polarities are active in the field, the collective reality begins to shift. Not just individually, but structurally. And now we touch the deeper truth. Healers and breakers are not opposites. They are complementary frequencies within the greater mission. A healer holds the field open in 5D so others can rise. A breaker travels into the distorted realms and clears the path back. One expands light, the other penetrates shadow, and together they create the bridge to a reality that transcends both. This isn't just theory, it's technology, soul technology, and it's encoded in you. So ask yourself this now, as deeply as you ever have. Am I holding the structure of light? Or am I here to fracture time and reset the field? And if I truly own that purpose, what part of me must now evolve into full activation? Quantum missions of the chosen. Why you were born with codes that disrupt this world. You didn't come here by accident. You didn't incarnate just to live out a comfortable storyline or climb a linear ladder of success. You were seeded into this timeline with intention, strategic, cosmic level intention. And that intention is encoded in your frequency. If you've always felt like this world doesn't make sense, like its systems are artificial, its rules absurd, and its structures suffocating, it's because your soul wasn't designed to comply. You weren't born to align with this version of reality. You were born to update it. What you carry in your field isn't just energy, it's architecture, it's data, it's a blueprint from higher realms where consciousness isn't confined by gravity, culture, or conditioning. These codes live in your body, your emotions, your inner knowing, and they often show up as conflict. The reason your life hasn't flowed like other people's isn't because you're broken, it's because your very presence disrupts the false grid. You're not here to stabilize dysfunction, you're here to disassemble it. Whether you are a healer or a breaker or both, your mission is quantum in nature. It transcends roles and job titles. It is a living, breathing expression of truth breaking through illusion. Every time you've been told to quiet down, soften your edges, tone yourself down, be more agreeable, be less emotional, be more patient, you've been receiving the Matrix's silent instructions to deactivate. Because when a chosen one activates fully, they become incompatible with manipulation. Their frequency no longer allows them to be controlled, sedated, or redirected. And that creates ripples. Those ripples are what change timelines. Not from effort, but from presence. Let's get even more real. Your sensitivity is a tracking system. It scans energy fields. It detects lies without logic. Your body reacts before your brain can explain, and that used to feel like a burden. But now, you're starting to see its precision. A high-tech, soul-bedded feedback loop telling you when a space, a person, a path, or a decision is out of alignment with your mission. That discomfort isn't random, it's data. And if you stop trying to numb it or fix it, and instead learn to read it, your life becomes a navigation tool for quantum alignment. Your emotional intensity, that's energetic voltage, raw potential. It's why you feel so much. It's why ordinary life has never satisfied you. Why you couldn't stay in jobs that drained you, in relationships that minimized you, in spiritual paths that asked you to bypass your shadow in favor of polished performance. You carry too much raw data in your field to play pretend. Your emotional spectrum is not a flaw, it's a field activation tool. When you feel fully, you process timelines. You collapse old versions of yourself, you transmute stagnant energy, you open quantum doors. But only when you stop judging the intensity and start owning it. Even your chaos has a pattern. You weren't born into pain or confusion because you were karmically punished. You were born into contrast so you could become conscious inside of density. So you could understand distortion from the inside out and still choose truth. The breaker path often walks through suffering first, not to destroy you, but to refine your discernment. The healer path walks through betrayal and abandonment, not to punish, but to teach you what wholeness really feels like. Every wound you've carried has a code embedded in it. Every breakdown has been a spiritual extraction, pulling out the programming that doesn't belong to you, and what's left is the raw essence of the chosen one finally waking up. But now awareness is no longer enough. The mission is moving from remembrance to embodiment. You remember who you are. Good. Now walk as it. You know you're different. Stop hiding. You know you're encoded with power. Stop diluting it. This world isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's responding to who you decide to become right now. So what happens when a healer or a breaker stops negotiating with the world and starts constructing from their own grid? Reality shifts, not just yours, but everyone's around you. You begin to notice people speaking differently in your presence. Energies that once drained you now bounce off you. Synchronicities accelerate. Time bends. You say something and it shows up the next day. That's not magic. That's resonance. You're becoming so coherent, so clear, that the field obeys your alignment. This is what quantum mission looks like in real life. So ask yourself this, from the deepest part of your being, what would happen if I finally activated all of my codes, without apology, without filter, and let the world rearrange itself around the full expression of who I am? The final split. Why Earth is dividing by frequency and only the aligned will navigate what comes next. We are no longer living in a single shared version of reality. The world you see around you is not the same world everyone else is experiencing. What's happening now isn't just political, economic, or environmental, it's energetic. Earth is undergoing a vibrational divergence. Some call it a shift, others call it ascension, but at the deepest level, it is a frequency split. Two worlds occupying the same space, divided not by borders or beliefs, but by consciousness. And whether you're a healer or a breaker, your role is no longer just personal, it's planetary. This split is not visible with the eyes, it's felt. You've noticed it already. Conversations that once flowed now feel hollow. Places you used to love now feel dense. People you were once close to now seem unreachable, like they're fading behind a veil. That veil is frequency. Those who anchor into the old grid, fear, control, distortion, are sinking deeper into that loop. Meanwhile, those who activate into alignment, truth, embodiment, coherence, are elevating into a completely new field of experience, not by escaping the world, but by restructuring their relationship to it. The healers will recognize this by how they're called to ground deeper, hold stronger fields of peace, and become walking temples of clarity. You won't always have the words, but your presence will be enough. People will come to you in chaos, not for advice, but to feel something different. Your challenge will be holding your peace when the world screams for reaction. When the old grid tries to pull you back into anxiety, urgency, or guilt, you'll have to choose presence again. You'll have to remember that your power isn't in fixing anything, it's in holding frequency that rewrites everything. Breakers will recognize the split differently. You'll feel a fire in your gut, an urgency in your soul, a refusal to tolerate lies you once tolerated. You may find yourself burning bridges that don't serve your future, exposing truth in spaces that feed off illusions, creating new paradigms not out of rebellion, but necessity. You'll break patterns and watch old timelines fall like dominoes. And you must trust that destruction is part of the rebirth. Your challenge will be discernment, knowing when to strike and when to stay still, when to speak and when to let the field do the work. Your power is not in your volume, it's in your accuracy. Together, healers and breakers are building what comes next. You're not here to survive the old world, you're here to seed the new one. but only if you stay in alignment. Because the new earth is not accessed through hope, it's accessed through resonance. You can't fake it, you can't hack it, you can only embody it. You are not ascending by leaving the world behind, you are ascending by becoming the vibrational match for the version of Earth you want to live in. This is why your alignment is non-negotiable now. What you think, feel, speak and choose is either anchoring you into the new frequency or tethering you to the collapsing grid. There's no middle ground anymore. You can't sit on the fence of truth. You either walk it or you fall back into the loop. And if you're watching this, if you've made it this far, it's because you've already been called, not just to witness the split, but to lead through it. So I ask you now, with no filter, no fear and no compromise, if you knew that your frequency is the code the future is building itself around, what would you embody starting today? Because this is it. The final split isn't coming, it's here. The question is not whether you're ready. The question is, are you willing to become the version of yourself that was encoded to navigate this exact moment in time? Because if you are, reality will move for you.